everything else works today, because a couple little hiccups so far. There we go. I hope everyone can see that and hear me. So thank you everyone for coming. So today we're here to talk about the benefits of Young Canada Works, how you can apply for the program, and what to expect from a Young Canada Works work experience. So my name is Louise, and I am a program officer for Young Canada Works at Building Careers in Heritage with the Canadian Museums Association. So today I'll be introducing you to the two streams of Young Canada Works that we administer here at the CMA. This presentation is being recorded and is available in French and English. If you need French, you should have a language option available on the Zoom screen. And before we get into further details about Young Canada Works, I would like to give our land acknowledgement. The Canadian Museums Association acknowledges that its secretariat is located on the traditional territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. We extend our appreciation for the opportunity to live and learn on this territory in mutual respect and gratitude. So what is Young Canada Works, and why should you be interested in participating? So Young Canada Works is a federally funded employment program that's administered annually through the Department of Canadian Heritage. There is also a both official languages component, but we're just here to talk about heritage, so they're separate. So both official languages typically is not related to heritage. It's more focused, of course, on using both and expanding capacity in Canada's official languages. So the Young Canada Works program in general started in 1996, and the CMA has been involved since it began. Its purpose is to benefit Canadian youth aged 30 and under by providing short-term employment and opportunities to gain work experience in the heritage sector. The program also benefits the heritage sector directly by providing funds to Canadian museums and other heritage organizations to allow them to hire Canadian youth for a limited time. So positions will be at a minimum 6 weeks long and then at a maximum 12 months. As a delivery organization, administering Young Canada Works on behalf of Canadian Heritage, the CMA provides the funding directly to the heritage organization, gallery, museum, etc. As a youth participant, you apply directly through that heritage organization, so it doesn't have anything to do really with the CMA in terms of hiring you or where you apply. It's done through the Young Canada Works website and with the employer directly. So what sorts of employers participate in the heritage program through Young Canada Works? So in order to participate as a Young Canada Works employer, an organization must be a not-for-profit incorporated institution with a heritage mandate. So they're very diverse outside of that criteria. So they range from very, very small volunteer-run organizations to the largest sort of museums in Canada, not federal organizations, so not the Canadian Museum of Nature, not the History Museum, etc. But the Musée des Beaux-Arts in Montreal, for instance. So it also includes things like zoos, historical societies, literally anything that has a heritage mandate and is not for profit. Libraries as well, if anyone is interested in library work. So it's intended to be mutually beneficial. So it provides youth with skills and work experience and of course money, and it provides funding and additional help for a heritage sector employer. And because our employers are across the country in all three territories and 10 provinces, and we encourage people to try to gain experience where they currently don't have any, you can get a travel reimbursement. So if you need to travel within your own province or anywhere in the country, as long as it's over 125 kilometers away from your permanent residence, we can offer you a travel reimbursement. So you would let us know once you've submitted a candidate eligibility form. So that's once you've started employment. And then, so just to review again, so there's two separate programs under Young Canada Works. There's Young Canada Works and Heritage Organizations, as well as Young Canada Works at Building Careers in Heritage. And they're separate, and they have different eligibility criteria and a few other differences, which I'll go into in a little bit more detail right now. So Young Canada Works and Heritage Organizations is for current students, so you just have to be currently registered in a program, and that can be high school or it can be post-secondary. And so yeah, you just have to be in, it can be a diploma program, degree, or like I say, your high school program. It used to be just a summer program, but it now can be anytime, but it does tend to be in the summer because that's when most people are hiring for the seasonal expansion of sort of visitors, and a lot of activity happens in the summer in our museums, but it can take place any time of year up to March 31st. And it's the shorter length, so 6 weeks to 16 weeks. So typically time you would have off between semesters as a high school or university students. And the eligibility criteria otherwise are you have to be 30 years old or younger, a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, or have refugee status. And you can do this program positions in Young Canada Works and Heritage Organizations multiple times. You could do one every year through high school and through university. And there is Young Canada Works at Building Careers in Heritage, which is the internship, longer stream. Its positions are between 4 months and 12 months in length. You have to be a post-secondary graduate. So that includes, you can have graduated from a SAJA program, you can have graduated from college or university as a degree or a certificate program. And just like the Heritage Organization stream, you have to be 30 years old or younger, Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or have refugee status. So Young Canada Works at Building Careers in Heritage is sort of intended to develop skills, not so much to just sort of introduce you to skills. It has a bit more of a focus on mentorship and professional development. So it's intended to provide meaningful work experiences and networking opportunities, as well as allowing you to get a little bit deeper into a project. So you might produce an exhibition sort of from the planning stages, and you might be able to see it all the way through if your position is a full year in length. And you can only complete this a maximum of 2 times. So who participates in Young Canada Works? Do you have to be a museum person? So it's intended to provide work experiences and develop skills in youth for the culture, heritage, and arts sectors, and to develop skills within these sectors specifically. But these skills are transferable, so you don't have to come to the museum world with skills already developed in the museum sector. The purpose of the program is to help you develop those skills and to introduce you to the museum world. And of course, like I say, a lot of skills that are useful in the museum world are equally useful outside. Things like communication skills, so lots of social media, for instance, the ability to write newsletters, create content for websites, also education, developing educational programming or giving the educational programming publicly, research. Many skills are things that are sought outside of the world of museums and galleries, etc. And you don't need to have graduated, of course, from a museum studies program or any other sort of specific program unless the employer specifies that. But that's typically up to the employer entirely, what they want to have the employee do and what their expectations are of their youth employee. So they should make that clear on the job poster, which is posted on the Young Canada Works website. And in terms of educational backgrounds of Young Canada Works interns and students, they're very diverse. People come from sciences, English, communications, all sorts of different backgrounds, Indigenous studies, etc. So why is the CMA involved? And this is just a photo from a couple of students who were working at the Bâtir Museum a couple of years ago. This was during COVID, as you can see. They're still wearing their masks. And so the CMA, why are we involved at all in this process? So we, like I said earlier, have been delivering Young Canada Works since it started in 1996, and the program has grown and changed and adapted. If anything, it's a little bit more flexible now, and of course there are more positions available. So we have other delivery organizations. When you go to the website, you won't notice who the delivery organizations are. It's just sort of, it's organized that way according to the sort of expert level of the particular organization. So as the Canadian Museums Association, we get ones that are focused on museum and art galleries. There's also the Canadian Council of Archives, so that focuses on library and archives positions, as well as the Fédération des Milieux Documentaires, which is similar, it's archiving, but in the French language. The Cultural Human Resources Council, and the National Trust. So the National Trust has a lot of positions that are focused on built heritage, protecting and repairing, and just sort of dealing with municipal infrastructure, for instance, would be through the National Trust. So as a delivery organization, our job is to review the applications that are submitted from our potential employers. We confirm that they are eligible employers. We want to make sure that they're financially stable, that they are not for profit, that they're Canadian, and that they have a heritage mandate. And we also assess the positions to make sure that they're going to be well supervised and a beneficial experience and generally safe for you as the employee. So we want to ensure that it's going to be building skills that are relevant to heritage in particular. So positions that are mostly just sort of maintenance positions, like if it's, mowing the lawns, doing weeding, etc. If that's the entire job, then that's not likely to be posted on the Young Canada Works job board. We try to make sure that all of the positions build skills. There will be, of course, some maintenance probably involved in some of the positions, because in lots of museums, the staff is quite small and everyone has to help out with everything, but the positions shouldn't be focused just on something that you could do like at a summer job elsewhere. And I just want to draw attention as well. So if you need any kind of modifications whatsoever, this is an option. So it would include supplementing childcare costs. If you need any kind of workspace adaptation, if you need like a ramp installed, even if it's sort of left-handed equipment, because a lot of things are very specifically for right-handed people. If you need anything to accommodate literally anything that will help you get the work done that you need to get done, you would let the employer know, and then they can ask us, they can tell us what they need, and we can offer to reimburse, and it's a reimbursement of up to $3,000. So what sorts of positions would you be doing? And I know we just sort of went over that a little bit, but they're very diverse, and they do overlap between Young Canada Works and heritage organizations and Young Canada Works at Building Careers in Heritage. There's a lot of collections assistant positions, curatorial assistant, communications is a big one, catalogers. Typically, Building Careers in Heritage positions will have a slightly more specific focus. So we had one that was a cemetery registrar, which they did sort of a tour of the cemetery, and it was, I think they had a virtual tour as well as an in-person tour, and so she did lots of research on burial habits, burial rituals at a particular time in the community. So a lot of the tasks would involve sort of documenting and digitizing acquisitions, especially during COVID. A lot of our employers turned to sort of digitizing and making the collections available virtually, and that still continues. There's a lot of educational programming, so developing educational programming and running educational programming virtually or in person. A lot of management of social media accounts. And there is a possibility of remote work. So like I said, during COVID, we did have some people who were able to plan sort of virtual programming, and some of that is able to be done remotely, sometimes research as well. So that is something that can be worked out with the employer if that is something that you are interested in. And just to note for BCH positions, there should also be, in addition, some professional development opportunities. So you should be encouraged to attend conferences and given the means to attend these conferences, as well as just memberships in different professional organizations that are related to the work that you're interested in pursuing. And I just wanted to draw attention to this one success story because I don't have anyone with me today. Sometimes I have a student or intern here to share their stories, but we don't have that today. So I wanted to point to this position from a few years ago where this intern at the Memory Lane Heritage Village in Nova Scotia, her task was to turn this space that was a general store back into what it would have looked like, say, in the 1930s. And so she designed and got all of these sort of any sort of foodstuffs that would have been there. So she got boxes made, labels, etc., and set up the whole store so that you felt like you were walking into a store in 1930. And she really enjoyed that position, and it sounds fascinating and it looks great. So just how to get started. So if you don't already have a Young Canada Works profile, it is very easy to create a profile on the Young Canada Works website. I will show you just the intro page to that in a moment. And like most government websites, you now have to do multi-factor authentication. So there's a GC key or bank info that you now need to log in with. But other than that, it's pretty easy. So you'll want to go and create a profile and you just create a password, indicate you are a candidate, so you're looking for a job. You want to make sure that the year that you're selecting is correct, so not 24-25. You want 25-26, because if you select the previous year, you will not find any jobs on the board. So we're currently just in the process of getting jobs up on the Young Canada Works job board. So there aren't a ton there, but there are some for both streams. There will be more, so keep checking back. We're just in the process of sort of communicating with our employers, telling them, we've told them who we've accepted, so it's just some of them don't answer right away. So between now and September, jobs will continually be added to the job board. So when you first log on, you'll want to select which stream you want. So you can also do that here. You can search the job board without actually creating a profile as well. So when you go here, you can either do this from within your profile, or you can just go search jobs on the main page of Young Canada Works. And again, you'll want to select the year, the program. So if it's a BCH or HO, among the other ones that are offered, you can select by city. You can search by keywords. So if you're interested in, say, like decolonization or repatriation, or something, anything in particular that interests you that probably won't be the job title, you can search by keyword. You can search through main activity sector, which will bring up, I think there's a list of about 20 different terms. If you only want to work in a particular province, you can just see all of the jobs available in that province. And my other recommendation is to make sure you follow the employer's instructions in the job posters very closely, because you do have to apply through the Young Canada Works website, but sometimes employers will ask you to do a little bit more. So they might want you to email them directly. They might want you to provide them with, say, a writing sample, or answer some particular questions. So this is not a very good job poster. They should include more details, but it does show you what the hourly wage is, how long they plan the position to be for, the title of the job, and where they are. And just to note on wages, in building careers and heritage, we do insist that they pay above minimum wage, and typically BCH positions pay a little bit better. than HO. But we do have a wage guide available, and we encourage people to pay a living wage if possible, but above minimum wage for sure. And so just in summary, the tips that I have for success are in terms of your profile. You can upload a resume and a cover letter. So I would keep the resume and cover letter that are on your profile very general, but tailored for the heritage sector or whichever sector. So if you're applying to galleries or libraries, etc., include any experience you think would be relevant. But when you send a resume or cover letter to an employer, of course, you can tailor it more specifically. Make sure that your resume is up to date because they might be checking to make sure that you meet the eligibility criteria of either stream. So they'll want to see if you are A, a current student, or B, have graduated from a post-secondary program. Likewise, keep your profile updated for the same reasons. Double check the program year. A lot of people don't check the program year. Check back regularly because, as I say, we keep updating everything regularly. And stay engaged with your local heritage community. So on email, or sorry, by social media or in person, attend events, just sort of keep engaged so you know what's happening. You can develop interests, discover new interests, and just sort of start networking, especially through volunteering. I really encourage people to volunteer virtually or in person with any sort of organizations that interest you. And then this is where you can find the CMA whenever you want to interact with us. We have social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Feel free to email us as well at YCW@museums.ca. And then our website also has some resources on it for students as well, students and interns, as well as employers. So I will open everything up to questions. If anyone has any, I will stop sharing my screen. Is the chat enabled? I'll just go through. I'll allow everyone to talk. And if you have any questions, I know sometimes the chat doesn't work always. Oh, there's Q&A here. Let's see. If someone is a university graduate but is also currently enrolled in another program. Yes, sorry, the full question. If someone is a university graduate but is also currently enrolled in another program, can they apply for both programs? Yes. So you certainly can, as long as you are eligible for both, so 30 and under, etc. If you have graduated already, you would be eligible for BCH. And if you have graduated but are in a program, then yes, again, yeah, you would definitely be eligible for HO. So HO can be for people who do have a post-secondary degree. The only qualification is that you need to be currently in a program. That is a very good question. If you've graduated with a BA and are entering an MA program in fall of 2025, do you qualify? Yes, you would. So if you have already registered, that is a question from Zoe. If you've already registered in the program, it's an intention to go back to school, you're registered in a program, then yes, you would also qualify for the Built-in Careers and Heritage stream for graduates. Aline asks if the presentation will be available after. It was recorded, so yes, it should be. I plan to send out a recording to everyone that registered. And then someone asks, when filling out our profiles, does it matter if we get the general area of study wrong? Oh, I see. No, so it doesn't. That's not a big issue. So if you're in history, you're not sure if that's an art or social science. No, it's not a big deal. It should be clear in anything else that you have included, so in your resume or cover letter, etc. It's never typically, it's never been a case where someone has said, like, you must be a history student, or you must be like such and such student. Occasionally, I think one person, I recently did an article for our magazine on this. I think one person in the entire year of both streams insisted that people be, yeah, I think it was in museum studies, and but typically it's you can be in anything, so it's never really a deal breaker. The job postings all rolling applications, meaning that the hiring committee views applications as they come in. That's a good question. So if somebody has a job posting up on the website, and it doesn't start until September, it would depend on the employer. So you'd have to ask the employer. They hopefully should mention that in their job poster, but I couldn't speak for the employers on that. It would be, it's up to the individual employer, and I would definitely ask them. And then someone also has asked, you mentioned that opportunities are posted from now until September. Well, that is also a good question. Are there no postings in fall or winter? It's not likely, as we issue funding now, and then occasionally we will offer funding later, but it's not a given. So for built-in careers and heritage, because of the length, they have to start by December 1st in order to end, or early December in order to end by March. So some positions may not start until December, so they would still be on the job board. In the past, we have done a second intake later in the year, but it's pretty rare. So it's not as likely that there will be new postings added in September, but it's not impossible. Because we tend to do most of the job issuing in the next, like now and then for a few weeks. So, but they keep getting added because of just the sort of negotiations that have to be made to get the jobs posted. And then someone has asked, so you don't have to be a fine arts student to apply? No, you do not. Unless the employer requests it, but it's not very frequent. And of course, I mean, they have, if it's say for, I can't even think of a job where that would be a requirement. But if that's something they want, and 5 people with a fine arts degree apply for the job, and then one person applies that doesn't, that, it just depends on the job. But no, you don't have to be a fine arts student for most positions. Let's see, can you elaborate a bit on the line subject to YCW funding? Oh, that is a good question. So that people will include that in the job poster if they are posting it or writing it sometimes before they have received confirmation of Young Canada Works funding. So that would be why that would be in the job poster. If it's on the YCW website, then they have received YCW funding. So it's not, they can just take that out. But if it's elsewhere, if you find it elsewhere, and it's not on the YCW website, then, they may not have gotten YCW funding. I'm so sorry, there's someone else. Sorry, I missed the intro of your presentation, but you mentioned that there are travel reimbursements. Can you expand on that? So yes, so if you are traveling more than 125 kilometers for the job from your permanent residence, then YCW can reimburse your travel costs to and from your workplace. So at the beginning and the end, not your like daily commute, but just the travel. Say if you are living in Nova Scotia and you want to work in Vancouver, the travel between those two would be reimbursable for you. And then someone has asked, if someone was interested in a particular area of work, could they connect with someone from that delivery organization? You could, that would be, I don't know. If you want to expand on that, are you able to speak? I'll see if I can find you. Sorry, I was trying to go through and let everyone talk if you wanted to. I don't know how far I got there. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna see if I can find you here. It never shows me the full list. So, why is it not in alphabetical order? Oh, there you are. Okay, yeah, I think if you wanted to expand on that, if you feel comfortable, please feel free to speak.
Oh, hello?
Hi.
Hey, yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, sorry, it's a bit of a vague question. I just figured that let's say, if I was interested in a particular area, like I'm a library technician student, but if I was
Mhm.
interested in like that or record management or archives, I thought maybe some of the delivery organizations, because you mentioned that they're typically connected to, certain areas. Maybe they would have like I guess some, better insight into what some of these employers or positions are looking for from these students, or they would just have just like a more intimate idea of those roles in particular, but it was kind of
Yeah.
vague.
I mean, you certainly could. I know, I mean, we receive lots of questions, and I'm always happy to get questions from people. We do have, why am I blanking on their actual name? The Canadian Council of Archives, if that's your
Right.
actual interest. Then yeah, I would say definitely it's, I believe the person's name there is also Louise, so you could reach out to them,
Oh,
and it should be
okay.
on their website too. But yeah, you definitely should be able to ask them. They have a smaller number of positions available than we do, so they might even
Hmm.
be able to direct you better than we would to a specific job, for instance, if you're looking. But yeah, that's a great question.
Okay, thanks so much. And sorry, while I have you, a super quick follow-up. I just wanted to clarify so for the application process, there isn't like a direct submission on the Young Canada Work site. Employers should be leaving information that you can send your application to externally. Um,
They
or
should they You do have to eventually, like some employers do just go through the Young Canada Works website. So
Mhm.
you would go through search of job, you can express interest. A lot of employers, however, sometimes they don't even look at their expressions of interest. So I would recommend contacting them. Um, but
Right.
they should, in their job poster, also indicate another way of, if they want you to contact them directly, they should be providing guidance on that. So that's something we always go through the job posters, and I always remind them to include those details. So if they do want you to email them directly and provide them with additional details, which is pretty
Mhm.
common, honestly. I would say I don't have an exact statistic, but I would say it's the majority do ask you to email them directly. Um, they should provide that detail, and if they don't, I mean, you can certainly follow up with them directly.
Right.
Does that
Absolutely.
answer your question?
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, the website isn't the most intuitive. Some people don't understand when it says express interest, that's actually you applying for the job. It sounds like it's just, oh, this is saving it for later for me, but you're actually technically applying for the position. Um, so it's a little bit strange. Let's see. So as an MA student graduating in August of 2025 with no intention to return to school, am I correct in understanding that I am only admissible to the Building Careers and Heritage stream? That is correct, yes. So if you are not currently registered, currently now you would be. So I think if you are not graduating until August and you were wanting a job, they're typically full-time, so I don't know if that is something that would be possible while you're just finishing your MA. But you would currently qualify for the HO stream. Um, but after August, correct, you would be eligible for Building Careers and Heritage, but not HO. And that is an excellent question. Complementary to travel financial aid, is there also housing financial aid for out of province positions? There isn't, although it does list that. So that slide that I had for accessibility is from the government, what the government has provided to us. So, and it does mention housing. So I don't know, but it's, you know, it's not a huge amount of support for accessibility. So, I mean, especially for people who are going to remote communities, that is usually a big issue because housing is very limited. And we really want to encourage people to go to work in these remote locations because they often are the ones that have to cancel because nobody's able to go there because they don't have housing, or, you know, just because it's fairly remote and it's not on the top of everyone's list to work there because of that reason. So I would just say I would ask because it might fall under the accessibility reimbursement as well, but under the travel reimbursement, unfortunately, no, it doesn't. Oh, and I see someone has is it Elijah? Feel free to just ask your question if you would like. Oh, Elijah, do you have a question? Did I miss you? Oh, sorry. And then there was another one I missed, or I think it just came in. Do we need a lot of experience? Do you guys offer co-op or internships? Yes. So sometimes these can they can work as co-op terms. It just depends on the university you're doing it through, because sometimes they have you need to have already selected the co-op your co-op employer before our positions get posted. But if it works, the timing, yes, it can certainly. You would just need to discuss that with the employer, if that makes sense. Any other questions? If anyone else wants to ask a question, please just feel free to speak out. I do see a hand up, whoever that is, if I unmuted you. I feel like I've unmuted everyone. I think I got muted. But I'll put my, see if I can do that. I think sometimes I don't know what I set incorrectly, but it doesn't show when I post. But in case, I'll put it in my email. I'll be emailing you shortly anyways, so you'll have my email address. But if you can see that, it's lpitre@museums.ca. Please feel free to send me any questions at all. I enjoy questions. Yeah. And I think that looks like the end of questions. So I guess that is it for everyone. Unless there's anything else, I will say goodbye and say thank you very much everyone for attending today.